To say I'm a big fan of HD Retrovision would be a bit of an understatement. Their cables deliver video for 5 of my consoles, and I bought the Saturn adapter before I even had a Saturn to connect it to. In this video, we'll compare their Saturn adapter to other video options and take a look at a few ways you can use their products in your setup. The Sega Saturn is one of those machines I never had the fortune to own as a youth. The allure of a 3D Mario pulled me away from Sega's system, and it wasn't until last fall that I finally got to dive into its library of games. My Saturn collection is still pretty small, as it's an expensive system to collect for, but I've got enough games to do a few side-by-side comparisons. Like many of the consoles of the 90s, composite cables were the default video connection that came packed in. They looked fine on the screens of the era, but on the digital displays that we use today, composite can be quite ugly. Here's a first look at the Saturn over standard composite cable versus HD Retrovision's component cable solution. When I announced on Twitter that I'd finally got a Saturn to go with my Saturn adapter, I was cautioned to temper my expectations for 2 reasons. Firstly, I was told that the Sega Saturn has a somewhat soft RGB output compared to other retro hardware. And second, that its composite output is relatively decent when compared to something like the Sega Genesis. I found these claims to be mostly true, but it would be a total misrepresentation to say that you won't see a huge boost in visual fidelity if you're trading up from composite cables to this component solution. Here's a few more capture comparisons that I think will really drive the point home. As you can see, there's a decent jump in quality when you switch over to component, and when you get in close, the image difference becomes even more apparent. This might not be the biggest jump we've seen when upgrading from composite, but it's still significant. A lot of you watching this might have an old tube TV in your setup and be thinking, won't the composite cables that came with the system look decent on a CRT? The good news is, yes, standard composite looks pretty okay on a CRT. The better news is that HD Retrovision cables are also compatible with CRTs, and they look even better. One quick caution, I completely forgot about the contrast slider on the component cable, so the component signal in these shots might be running a little hot. This Samsung Slim Fit TV also has some image issues that make it less than ideal, but you still get the general idea. Lastly, I want to talk about how the adapter actually works. Like the Sony PlayStation adapter I reviewed previously, this adapter was designed to be paired with the old workhorse that is the Sega Genesis component cable. Both of these together are going to run you about $80, which is admittedly pretty pricey. But if you're a Saturn enthusiast, or someone new to the console who wants to get the best picture out of their new toy, the HD Retrovision adapter and cable pairing is going to get you an amazing image. Thanks again for watching everybody, and I'll see you all in the next Retro Tech Select.